Now to my, jump into here to my basics, go in here to lock ignition timing. I'm going to lock my timing down, and I'm going to be checking it with a timing light. So coming up on the screen, I have my spark plug lead placed between my number one spark plug and the actual coil pack. I have my timing light clicked onto there, and then I'm going to be going in and shooting it at the balancer mark. When I command down here 0 degrees or TDC, I should see 0 degrees at my balancer as my engine's running. And then I'm going to rev my engine up and see if I need to go in and change anything in my angle offset table here after if I adjusted my trigger angle. So if I find a difference, if I'm commanding 0, if I go down here to lock timing, let's take a look at this. If I go here and set it at 0, click apply, we're going to find that my idle ignition advance here goes to 0. You can see immediately it jumps there. We can also see that our idle output here is going to be adding duty cycle, trying to get us back to our target. Target's 900. Or below that, we can see that it's adding some back in, trying to correct that, but that's kind of besides the point. So our ignition advance here is at 0, TDC. When I'm going to shoot at my light, I want to make sure that my balancer, my TDC mark, is going to be matching the TDC mark on the cover or on my timing light, so it's going to be flashing. They're both going to be lining, so the mark on the cover, my pointer mark, is going to be aligning with my balancer mark at 0 TDC. I'm going to be moving my trigger angle if there's a difference to kind of correct that. And then as I go and rev the engine up, I'll see what the offset angle table is if it needs to be adjusted. That's going to be this table, if we jump down here, it's going to be varying our trigger angle right here. We can see it's going to be subtracting as we get up into engine RPM. So if the value here, let's double check this, if the value here is 50 and we're at 3000 RPM, it's going to be saying it's at 47. It's going to be adding an offset, and that's going to be allowing our engine RPM, or our ignition timing, to be much more accurate. I'll double check that and see. So let me jump out right now. I'll stop here, and then I'll go check it, and then we'll come back in and I'll talk about what we adjust it and see where we're at. Usually they're pretty relevant here. Our trigger angle 50 is pretty close. Because this engine has no distributor that you can adjust or do any kind of dynamic adjustments, we're usually okay with running with the value here, but it's always good to check. I'm going to go do that, jump back in, and I'll talk about what we found. Okay, so I just got back in the car from checking the ignition timing. I had to move my trigger angle here by 1 degree. It was at 50, I moved it to 49. That synced my ignition timing when I'm commanding and locking here 0 degrees and sending out 0 degrees what it should be running at the engine. That got me back to having 0 degrees at my balancer mark on my engine. So now we sync that. We're ready to go in here and turn off our lock timing mode. We don't turn this off. Find that our ignition timing is always going to be locked here at 0, or whatever we lock the amount at all operation points. And we want to avoid that. So let's go here and click lock off and click apply. And let's let it, here we go. It's turned off, and we can see it's adding the ignition timing back in. That's the timing that's coming from our 0 throttle table because we're at idle right now. Now, the other thing I checked while I was out there was the angle offset table. This is going to be having that offset to this trigger angle. I revved the engine up to 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, and I put my timing light on it, and I was still locked at TDC. It was moving around about 1 degree, but that is fine. I'm not worried about having a little bit of fluctuation. That is completely normal on any engine. So at this point, we are ready to take a look at mapping out our fuel table. So the next part here I'm going to be introducing is going to be our closed loop control.